Welcome back to Making a Difference on Jacksonville Buzz. I'm your host, Mike White, and on Making a Difference, we meet with leaders in our community that are doing great things to help out the nonprofit world. Join us today from Abilities Workshop. We have Jeanetta Bryant. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for everything that you do. You're out there really making a difference. I wanted to talk more about Abilities Workshop and who you guys serve.
So Abilities Workshop is a passion project turned into a real community affair. My daughter Lindsay has autism, and so we learned very early on that she was going to need extra supports. And the problem that we ran into is that extra support isn't always easy to find. So Abilities Workshop was one of these things I daydreamed about. You know, I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning on Facebook looking for answers. And you look on your computer here, and then you say, I don't know that word, and you're looking on your phone here, and you're saying, okay, how am I putting this together? And slowly but surely you start cultivating a plan. And all I could think is there's got to be an easier way. There just has to be an easier way for a parent that's being diagnosed to know what to do. And so I spoke a lot to the other parents in waiting rooms, and we figured out how to move forward. And I thought if all these other parents were going to help me, it was our obligation to pay that forward.
So once someone gets a diagnosis, like where do they begin with your program, your process, your information?
Sure, that's a great question. So the reality is that when you get a diagnosis, especially when your child is young and they're getting an autism diagnosis of any caliber, the first thing they tell you is, oh my gosh, you need to have early intervention. It's really important. And nobody tells you what early intervention is. You just go out seeking it. And so finding out, through talking to other parents and to figuring out what steps needed to be taken, we said, okay, the things that you have to know, the boot camp things that you have to know. You have to know what an IEP is. You have to know what ABA therapy is and what occupational therapy and speech therapy. Even if your child's speaking, speech therapy isn't just letter sounds, it's comprehension. And so knowing these things and how to integrate them helps you start cultivating this plan. So we started with what we called was a series moving forward. We were doing everything in person, and I'm an in-person girl, so it was really nice. You could feel the energy in the room. We had these experts come in and they would tell, here's what you need to know. Here's your starter pack, if you will. Then COVID hit, and life changed a little bit for us and maybe the rest of the world.
Just a tad.
Just a little here and there.
So for an in-person person, you're now virtual.
I am now having to reimagine everything because I'm sitting on the sidelines as a parent that's saying, you can do it, and going, how am I going to get the message out there? And so we did reimagine it, and it came at a time where there were a lot of leading experts in the field that were sitting on their hands because of COVID. And so they entertained these phone calls from this little new nonprofit, and they said, I can buy into that vision. I want to be a part of that program. And we ended up getting all of these wonderful speakers from around the world to lend their time and talent to guiding these new parents. So what started out as 12 speakers turned into 26 speakers, and these 26 speakers walk you through everything you need to know. That's really cool. And the part of it that's cool is that we actually get to wake up each morning, go into work, and know that we're making a difference in these parents' lives.
So once someone comes in, what care, kind of ongoing information and opportunities are there for those parents?
So parents need help in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's that they need to know who the occupational therapist is or who the developmental pediatrician is that they need to reach out to. Sometimes they just need a friendly person to talk to because they don't think anybody else in their world understands what's going on. And quite honestly, they don't. I mean, you have parents that can love and support you and not understand the pain that you're feeling at home or the isolation that you might be feeling from your friends or from some of the people in your family. And so phone calls, we'll answer phone calls and talk to parents all day long. It feels a little bit more like a social worker's office some days. We will help point people in the right direction. We do a publication that is called Bright Feeds, and that's a directory guide that goes out to the school systems and it goes out to parents. And really any way that we can help, whether that's the podcast or publications or phone calls or courses, we just want to help find that safe place to land for them.
What organizations, there's many out there that are not-for-profits that are in the space, who are a few that you think are also doing a great job filling the void with either information or resources?
Well, I think that one that comes to mind is Talk About Curing Autism. They changed their name to the autism community in action. But Taka's doing a really good job of trying to get information out into the community. I also think that Autism Speaks does a lot of stuff that the community does not know about. They have family grants. They have different resource channels on their site that are comprehensive, and sometimes they kind of get stereotyped into this one role, and I think that they're a little bit bigger than what they are.
So how does Abilities Workshop, what gaps or voids does it fill when combining your resources with those out there doing amazing work?
I think that we're just a little bit more personalized, that it's a little bit more organically grown, especially at this stage of the game. The caliber of knowledge is the same with the people that we are fortunate enough to work with. It's just more tailored.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for everything you do to make a difference, and keep up all the great work.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me.
To find out more about Abilities Workshop and all the amazing resources they have to fit your needs, visit us at iwantabuzz.com. We'll see you next time on Making a Difference.